Alright, this is for Ricardo. So the first thing that I would say right off the bat is that you really want to pay attention to the atmospheric perspective. And so if you go into and create a black and white adjustment, the character completely gets lost with the dragon and the background because it's all the same value range. If you look at your histogram, your majority of your values are pretty much within this range right here. Um, so it's very very one-sided as far as that goes. So the easiest way to fix that is to just start going in and start building up kind of different ideas here, or different layers of atmosphere. So I'm just going to really quickly rough out, and I'm really quickly roughing out the sky here. So take the sky, oops, and we'll just rough this out real quick here. Okay, so we'll cut that out. That's the first thing. I'm going to cut out the dragon here, which is the second thing. And what's kind of odd is that you have the tail kind of part of this dragon here, so I'm just going to take that out as well. We'll cut that. And then you've got your back wall and your human figure. So I'm just going to take your human figure here. And we're going to just cut that out as well. So the first thing is that nothing really kind of is separated. And what that means is, like, you look at this and just real quickly, let's subtract this. Okay, so our sky, which is the background layer, and I'm going to basically adjust the saturation of it, so it's basically going to get rid of the blue, and I'm actually going to lighten that up. And so by lightening that up, you automatically see that is a kind of aspect that you're looking for. Then the character being in the foreground, you want to darken that like so, and a little bit even more saturated. And so already he starts popping out a little bit more. And then this is I'm just going to really quickly rough out, and let's cut that out. Okay, so this probably is about good value range, but then we're going to go in here, and I'm going to darken this range here. Maybe even a little more saturated, like so. So now you can see that the character starts coming out a little bit more. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to go into my adjustments, and I'm going to desaturate the dragon and almost lighten it up just a hair. And so with that in place, then I'm going to use the history brush here, and right here, and change my hue and saturation. And basically with that, I'm going to go in my history brush here and maybe here, let's try this, and start pulling out some of the elements that are actually popping in the foreground. And that, as you can see, is starting to kind of really kind of pop out that character a little bit more, especially around the arms and so on and so forth. You know, so breaking up those elements are a huge aspect of what you kind of need to accomplish for your, you know, a little bit more depth. Okay, and so that is the first thing that I would do. And then there's anatomical issues you need to address. You know, kind of the way the character, and this is some of the things that I would look at. I'm just going to use a simple green brush here to show you. But so you have an issue going on with anatomical as well as like foreshortening. So the elements of this character is, you know, he's got oops, I would actually help to do this on a layer here. Okay, so you've got kind of the spine, and then you got the shoulder here, and then it looks like his arm comes down and out and then down. This comes over, elbow joint down, hips, and then spine. So if you look, if you try and actually get in this pose, it would be just a very awkward pose to get into. You know, the part of it too is the fact that your elbow is actually up above, and so you're actually kind of looking at it in an odd sense. What you'd be better off doing is actually going vertical with this and putting the hand like this, and then instead of this here, you'd probably be better off. You'd be better off actually going here, and let's delete this leg and putting it like this. So the character's one, a little bit off balance. Two, he's got more weight on this leg here. And then three, I would this hand is awkward with the sword coming back like this. Like I get you're trying to do a backslash, but you're better off creating a better silhouette of something like this, where the sword is pointing to the dragon. And that's about composition and balance. You know, looking at this right now, you've got the composition of your character. You know, you've got your face coming here, and this is my central focus area. And then with this character here, the problem is your sword points down. Your hands are pointing down. This is pointing away. So you're telling everybody, instead of this central focus area, you're telling everybody to go off the screen. And so it's a simple adjustment in poses, whereas, you know, putting the character here, maybe pointing towards with the sword, breaking that plane so that you're not pushing yourself away. Instead, you're creating a line to push yourself forward. So it's all of those little aspects that you need to kind of adjust. And then you need to work on anatomy as well as foreshortening. So foreshortening is if I've got a shoulder muscle here and then a pectoral muscle, something like this. So he's reaching towards the character. So basically think of it as a cylinder. And then the arm is another kind of foreshortened, and then with a tube, like so. And then the hand is actually a kind of like this. So you see how I'm breaking this into small segments? And then you break up instead of like this triad or trident of fingers, you would kind of foreshorten those fingers to basically maybe look a little bit different. And it's just basically, clawing it a little bit better, that type of thing. So, adjusting those fingers. And those are the types of things that are really going to kind of help you out, getting that foreshortening down, getting the underlying structure of your character down, getting the anatomy, because like looking at this joint here, I see there's real no definition in the fingers. Whereas if you would think of it as bone, you're going to have a bone like this, a bone like this, and then another tip bone like that where the skeleton goes out. And you can see just by simply doing that, by simply going in and picking this dark color now, maybe even a little bit darker, I can separate the elements and it gives me a better sense of kind of the anatomy of the structure. And that's what you need to identify with, is you need to identify with those structural elements. All right? So I hope that helps you out. If you have any questions, let me know.